Hi everyone. This evening with the Open Hearth, we are playing Wickedness, the fantastic game by M Veselak. We are playing the urban fantasy playset, which was written by Caro Asersion. So yeah, looking forward to that. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And today and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be playing the Pure Heart. Pepper, she, her, is driven by faith and connections. She came to this city in search of true friendship. This is a Hallmark movie for her. um, though she came here to escape a deal too good to be true. Her style is messenger bag, so like always like ready to go, but also ready to help out. The underworld menaces her with sleepless nights. And her power is best used as medicine, but can also understand others. Okay, so that's Pepper in broad strokes. Any questions about her, or will we go through with some more introductions?
Do you have any inclinings about the deal, or do you want to wait and find out?
Yeah, I don't know, so I think I want to figure that out in play. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sure something will bubble up. Okay. Sabine, how about you?
Yeah, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I am going to play Ivy, they, them pronouns. Ivy is the white spirit. Ivy is driven by emotion and mystery. They have abandoned a mystery from their youth. They still carry with them an old knife for whatever reason. Their style is, it says crystal pendant, but I imagine, like, I have a picture and it's mostly outdoorsy person, but probably has a couple of crystal pendants and stuff like that, amulets and what have you, because maybe yeah, well, anyway, they have them. They are menaced by the underworld with an unshakable tailwind. So, yeah, maybe that's connected to the mystery they have abandoned.
Donna, you're
Uh,
muted.
is this mystery something that Ivy doesn't know or just isn't telling us?
I think Ivy realized that there was something, and then they were like, nah, it requires too much effort in ways I'm not very well equipped for. I'm gonna leave this here by mystery. But I think something followed them.
Okay. And tell us about Ivy's power.
Sure, Ivy's power is best used for violence, but it's also suited to transformation.
Okay. Any questions from you, Matt, about Ivy?
Have we seen Ivy transform? If Ivy's been with us for some time? Um,
Maybe, yeah. I imagine that Ivy is not shy about using their power, right? Um, they might have, I don't know, how I don't know the system and how far I can take these things, but if I can say that they have transformed into a wolf or something, then you probably would have seen that. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Is
just
that
don't.
Ivy's favorite animal, or do they like
No,
whatever
no,
sits?
their favorite animal is actually a frog or a snake or something like that. But it's kind of weird being cold-blooded. So they usually won't do that.
And at first glance, you are mighty foolhardy and sharp.
Yeah,
And
that.
wolves
I
are sharp and
mean,
mighty.
yeah. See? Also if you're a lone wolf, you're probably a little bit foolhardy as well, right? But maybe Ivy is not a lone wolf. I mean, they've got you, right?
Now you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Matt, let's move on to you.
I had one question for you, Donna,
Oh,
before we
yep.
move. I just saw your power is best used as medicine, and I wondered what sort of medicine you've done for us before. I guess we can also play to find this out too.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, I mean, I think there's like a certain amount of this which is just like Pepper's personality, which, is like a caretaker kind of figure. But then if you're under her care, things will magically um, get better, by themselves. Well, not by themselves, like to your view, maybe by themselves, but it's obviously Pepper's magic. So yeah, I mean, Ivy seems like the sort might who might be getting into scrapes. So maybe it's Ivy
Yeah.
as Pepper's number one patient.
Oh yeah, I think Ivy really likes that to have that someone to make them better, which leads to them taking more risks. So, but you've got a safety net.
Yeah, yeah.
So, my name's Matt. I use they or any pronouns, and my character's name is Motley. Auntie Motley. She has many other names, but that is how she's called by most. She's the old soul of the coven. Um, she is driven by reason and practicality, a very practical old woman. Um, at first glance, I am practical, self-sufficient, and stubborn. I'm all of those things. And my power is best used to seek knowledge, but is also used to conjure spirits. So I'm imagining Motley as a sort of spiritual and social hub of the city that we're in. Someone who's been here for a very long time, has known many people who have since passed, and she still calls upon them often. So she'll be doing seances and gossip sessions with her old friends, wherever in the sanctuary, wherever her space is, and you'll hear her cackling away with voices that you can sometimes hear, although they sound a little distant. Um, I have always learned best with gossip, and I've never learned anything useful by reading books. Um, she is not a scholarly old woman. She is a very chatty old woman and a very nosy old woman. My style is tasteful slob. I think it's tasteful because I've acquired many fine gifts from people I've known throughout the years. And I do know how to wear them, but I'm also not particularly neat, and they get sort of thrown about me all the time and all about my rooms. And the underworld menaces me with overwhelming silence. There's nothing I am scared of more than total lonely silence and solitude. That's me. That's Motley.
Gotta say, I love the picture.
Thank you.
That's Matt, when obviously gossip doesn't seem like a magical power, like when you're conjuring spirits and you're just chatting to them, like how else do you use your power to seek knowledge?
Mm. I think there's a complicated system of bargaining with spirits and consorting with spirits, and I think there's a lot of dealings that happens. So there's very keen knowledge of how to barter with both spirits and also other strange beings and entities throughout the city in order to gain knowledge, to fetch secrets and rumors, she probably attends all the goblin markets and crosses through to other worlds in order to meet with powerful beings. So it is mostly that that just charismatic, chatty nature. And I'll think on it a little more, but it's probably a collection of trinkets and things for trade as well. I think she's trading and gossip
Right.
and making good drinks. A little bit of alchemy.
Okay, cool. So we're going to come back to those questions to connect those a little bit later, but we find out a little bit more about our sanctuary now. So let's move on to the sanctuary tab. So here we've got a couple of things to decide on. You can see there we have resources, friends, and wonders, all things, properties of our sanctuary. And we can add some details, and here obviously we probably want to decide exactly where our sanctuary is. Is it Motley's house, or is it something else? Who knows? Um, so do we want to fill in like check these boxes first and then kind of come back and fill in our place in the world, or how do people feel about um, going uh, going the other way around?
I love looking at these boxes now.
I'm happy to fill some in and see what comes.
Mm.
These are good.
A belligerent sourdough starter. Oh my God.
The Pigeon Queen. Oh boy, let's do it.
No.
So we actually start with living spaces and a modest sum of money already, so I should pick those. And likewise, we start with a ward of protection. Since we're looking at these lists, let's start off here. So we each choose one from each list, and obviously when we do friends, we have to give them a name and give them a little bit more detail. Sabine, was there any that jumped out at you in the resources list?
I would like bicycles and enough space to store them. I think you can do a lot with a good bicycle and some magic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm taking that one.
Do you think this is um, like a shed with a yard, or is this just like the corridors or the halls in the house are very wide and we just park bikes there?
I think
what
it's
kind
kind of a shed. It's a shed. Yeah.
okay,
Maybe an
yeah.
older shed that used to be a garage, but it's mostly used now for bikes and bike parts.
Matt, what's jumping out at you here?
Hmm. I like courteous neighbors, and not just in the especially mundane sense. I think we are well integrated with our block, and there's lots of different people who own lots of different shops, and we're a strong network, and we look after each other and um, provide, um, and it'll make it all the more heartbreaking when we have to cross this one out later.
Um, I'm tempted by the kitchen alchemy workshop.
It's very good.
Uh, I'm inspired by the prospect of Motley making tea or whatever, or maybe it's cocktails. I don't want to
I think
judge.
for Motley, it's a lot of cocktails, but I would also
Yeah,
love if Pepper did a bit of brewing
yeah,
or
yeah.
medicine work.
I think let's go with kitchen alchemy workshop in that case. like maybe this is a very kind of old-fashioned, large kitchen with like ranges and stuff that's, 100 years out of date, but still does the work, right? And obviously like herbs and spices everywhere. Some of them, growing out of the ceiling, and some of them dried and ground and all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. So then we do some friends, and the same thing. We each choose one. Um, and they can be, people who live in the house or who visit or maybe our next door neighbors or just friends we know from the neighborhood. Um, whatever makes the most sense. I mean, some of them are obviously, or maybe not obviously, some of them are could be magical, and some of them are just things you find in cities. Um, I've got a couple that are jumping out at me, but who is one that they must pick? Matt, you're unmuted, so I'm gonna pick on you.
I am stuck between the neighborhood gargoyle and the pigeon queen. um,
I was going for the neighborhood gargoyle as well, or the pigeon queen. They're both amazing.
Is I mean, not that I think you're gonna pick the Pigeon Queen, but is that like Brenda Fricker in Home Alone 2, or is that like the Queen of the Pigeons? The bird, an actual bird.
well, now that you've asked, she's an actual bird.
Okay.
She's a big old pigeon, and her name is Bonita. It's just what she's always been called because she's a very beautiful pigeon.
Oh,
Um,
what color is she?
oh, I think she is lovely. Like she looks different in all sorts of lights, but like a nice, um, like there's pink, there's purple, there's gray. She has this. She can look like a normal pigeon at times, although she's very large, very round pigeon. Um, but she glimmers pink and purple in the light of the dusk. Um, I think she's beloved by our courteous neighbors, many of whom are the Ortega family, who run a deli. It's a very large family. Um, we don't need to add them to friends, but I just wanted to throw a name up there. Um, and yeah, the Pigeon Queen, Bonita. She has been rumored to speak, but only very rarely and only to people she trusts implicitly. So, um, yeah, we'll figure out more about her. Is there anything in particular we're supposed to add in this section?
It's just a name and a like detail, but I can make sure that this text section expands when we want to add some more detail.
Okay.
But then maybe we should actually just add an NPC section where we can add as much detail and pictures as we want.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Sabine, it sounded like you were angling towards the neighborhood gargoyle.
Oh, yeah. And I think his name is Arlo. He does not much like Bonita, to be honest. Well, if you're a stone creature who stands around a lot and there's a pigeon, there are probably rather obvious reasons why Arlo does not much like Bonita or her flock. Maybe Bonita is not the problem, but the flock mostly is. I think Arlo used to live on a neighboring, let's make it a old school building or something, probably abandoned. for safety reasons. And since he was bored, he comes around all the time. Like, yeah, it's raining again, and he's a bit curmudgeonly, I think. Not mean-spirited, but like he wants to be in company, but he doesn't want to say that he needs company. Just like, it's raining again, and I'm getting wet, and it doesn't matter. He's made of stone, but still, he likes hanging around with people.
But the rain cleans the poop off.
Yeah, but you have a garden hose that does the same thing a lot better.
Okay. Pretty cool. I am. I think I want something that is maybe very mundane, or at least more mundane than the pigeon queen and the neighborhood gargoyle. Um, I
It's just so whimsical, we can't help it.
yes. I am gonna go with a scrappy cajon busker. And they are called Louis. And um, I think Louis is like always happy, conversational. Okay. I imagine, maybe he mostly busks on the corner, maybe opposite our place, but somehow finds the best place to catch the crowd when they're in the mood.
Motley is grateful for the rhythms every time she steps out the door. She does a little dance.
Makes her feel young again, is it?
Yes. Makes her feel 80, 85 again.
um, so the other thing that we do is uh, to me. Um, it says whoever has the star, which is the card that we draw to say what our drive is, and the star is faith and connection. So I have to mark three aspects of the sanctuary, uh, which indicates that something or someone is not quite what it seems. Um, one next to someone or something with secret feelings, and something else that is doomed.
Can these apply to wonders as well? And do we need to choose those first?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, it is. Yeah, wonders are on that list. Yeah, thanks, Matt.
No, no problem. We could have a
Um,
doomed star clock.
yes, that's gonna happen now, huh? So, okay. Any any of those jumping out at people?
A
The
chimney phoenix egg.
Tony Phoenix egg is where my eyes were drawn to.
Well, yeah, that is a good one. Chimney Phoenix egg.
Okay, why don't you check that box and
Are you picturing anything about it in particular, Jonah?
I mean, like for me at least, is the fire always roaring in this house? It's like always kept lit. Or maybe like the ashes are always like the morning after, they're always warm, improbably warm, even though we never light fire, one of those two things, I think, has got to be
Yes.
true.
Yes.
I wonder if we're trying to hatch it.
Yeah.
But then, and then if it flies away, we won't have our ever burning fire. But for now, we just bask in the warmth of a life soon to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Um,
I remember this bird.
Sabine, do you have anyone in mind?
I do, but you go first. I will move on.
Okay. While I'm tempted by the stuffed animal burdened with memories, I want the fire escape forest.
Oh, that's cool. I am torn between the stuffed animal and the sourdough starter, honestly. I think I'm taking the animal burden with memories. Burden with memories sounds like the stuffed animal has seen shit, right?
Yeah.
Do I get to define what kind of animal it is?
I think so. I think that's a fair detail.
I think it's I think it's an owl.
So is this a toy owl? Say stuffed animal is
Oh yeah,
ambiguous to me. Like it
it's
doesn't mean
true.
like
I was
taxidermist
yeah,
or
I
like
was
just a
actually
toy.
I was first thinking toy, but now that you mentioned taxidermist, I think it's might be that one because that makes more sense with the memories, right? Or do we want a stuffed animal with memories, which also could be quite creepy, honestly.
It's well-loved toy.
So well,
Seen.
yes,
Okay.
seen some stuff. I can bring it about, and now I'm tempted to make it a blah high, but I won't. No, I have a stuffed owl. I hope it doesn't have any memories.
Maybe it's part of the mystery.
Hmm. We'll see. Play to find out. And I like the fire escape forest. So we have a multi-story house, right? That kind of
Yeah,
implies.
like maybe it's a brownstone, like a 3-story or 4-story house in a terrace
Mhm.
or in a block, and then there's a fire escape at the back, which improbably, even though we know we have a yard with a bike shed garage thing at the back, it just opens up into this forest. Maybe it only happens like if you go out normally, you don't really see the forest, but like when you go out by the fire escape, you're in this uh, like Amazonian uh, like forest canopy above and
Do,
below you.
do you okay, so you come out in the canopy, like in the trees, like it's like you're in a
Yeah,
tree house or something. Oh, that's so
yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah. Hey,
I hope it has interesting snakes.
Ooh,
uh,
I would love to have a portal to the wilds for our wild spirit.
God, now I need to pick those things. A little question mark next to someone or something that is not what it seems.
A classic question.
Another question. Part next to something with secret feelings. I mean, it seems like I should really choose this stuffed animal as the part now. Does Google allow me to put in Google emojis? It does. A skull next to someone or something that is doomed. Oh, I'm not going to doom our bicycle shed.
It's nice, but I'm afraid for the courteous neighbors.
Yeah. I'm sorry, courteous neighbors.
No.
I don't object if our courteous neighbors are doomed.
Yeah, they're too close to a sort of powerful place. Someone's going to come for us. Where's our did you place the question mark? I missed it.
Not yet, not yet.
Oh, no problem.
So three things mean different things. What does the little heart mean?
Uh, Someone or something that has feelings, secret
Oh,
feelings.
oh,
Secret
okay. Oh
feelings.
no, poor thing.
And a skull next to something that's doomed, and the question mark is something that is not what it seems. Uh, Firescape Forest. Okay. Okay. And if we ever run out of resources, friends, or wonders, there's a section in the interpretation guide. Okay. So we haven't, I think we've, like, through all these things, I think we have a really good sense of like where this place is, or at least what it appears to be. Um, but first, I realize we have blasted through our hour and we deserve to take a break. So I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, we're back. So I think we're about ready to move on to the city, uh, which is, I guess, how we define our neighborhood. So um, this neighborhood's appearance chosen by the pure heart. Okay, so that's me. Um, I mean, based on everything we've talked about so far, is it homey brickwork or is it window boxes and trellises? I don't know. Um, Maybe homey brickwork. At least on this street in a bit. I mean, that kind of, to me, says the neighborhood is, old, at least a couple of generations old, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Maybe Motley knows exactly what that means.
Mm.
Maybe.
Um, well, uh, Matt, the neighborhood's history is chosen by the old soul, so you get to decide exactly what that means, I guess.
I see. Well, I had been basically imagining a home to immigrants and outcasts the whole time. Um, and I think that's the easiest, most obvious answer for me to choose. There are other enticing answers. I love a hub of magical commerce. I would love to sort of blend those a little bit, but I think I'll choose. Hmm, yeah, I think I'd like to choose a hub of magical commerce, but a lot of that commerce does come from people from different places and communities who have made their homes here. So it just happens to be a home for a lot of immigrants and people
Hmm.
from strange places. Those could be immigrants from other countries and also immigrants from other places.
Is that like, um, like whatever the magical equivalent of a Saturday farmer's market is, or
Yeah, I imagine there are definitely pop-up shops that sort of appear out of nowhere and then are gone again. soon after. But I think baseline, it has a sort of a bazaar-ish quality to it. There are definitely brick and mortar shops that are staples, that are institutions for getting, art supplies, cooking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like one of those old markets, like an arcade, with some things that are permanent and some things that are very temporary.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I imagine lots of cloth in this place for signage, tents, and things like that. Lots of different colored cloth.
Okay, cool. And Sabine or Wild Spirit gets to choose the vibe of our neighborhood's residents.
Hey. I like capricious in their mirth. It could also be fuzzy and exacting. That would be also maybe fun, but I don't know. Maybe can I combine multiple things? Because I mean, it's not a monolith, right? Maybe the capricious in their mirth is more the magical community that hangs around here in the markets and stuff. And fuzzy but exacting are maybe the more mundane people who are like, okay, I need to do this exactly the right way. It also might be a thing that you have to do in the magical community. You don't want to not be fuzzy and exacting if you handle magical powers, which is not something Ivy would ever say because they don't know the meaning. Anyway, no, I think I'm going with fuzzy and exacting. Oh, there are two.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just,
Oh, cool.
breaking the
Yes.
rules.
Yes, you're great. Thank you. So
Uh,
there we go.
Is it the
did
other
you
way
want to do
around for
that as
those
well, Matt?
choices, or is
Did
that
you want me to add an extra bit for the neighborhood's history?
I think I'm fine with the hub of
Okay,
commerce with just the added detail that we all know that there are people from all over in our neighborhood.
okay, cool.
No,
And
I think this is the right way across because I like the magical community being capricious in their mirth.
yes,
That tracks with the colored textiles, cloths uh, flying around. That I imagine that being very capricious and mirthful.
and so sorry, were you saying that was the mundane or the magical?
The magicals, they are the heavy ones.
So then I think they're swapped on the.
Oh, oopsie. I will correct that. There we go.
Okay, cool. And then we decide the leader. Um,
Our
and
neighborhood.
actually, sorry, there's an extra bit that I forgot. So we decide who the kind of accepted leader is in the neighborhood. Um, so there's a drop down there. Let me read through them. An encroaching corporation, its silver-tongued spokesperson, the city council representatives, the indifferent mayor, an area celebrity, a social media influencer, delinquent teens, and our landlord. Now, Sabine, you're going to, after we decide who is, actually in charge, you get to decide who is the challenger to them. Um, so where are we inclined to go with this, the leader in this neighborhood?
Who holds the real power? Could be interesting to have a silver-tongued spokesperson who is somehow keeping away gentrification and landlords and things like that. But I'm also interested in having some of the real problems of the real world. Um, I don't know. I don't have. Did anyone have any feelings?
Um,
Uh,
I mean, our landlord could be terrible, right? Uh,
Or could not be terrible, who knows? Do we have a landlord? Or is that Motley's house?
I suppose this is for the entirety of the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. But if he's our landlord, that implies kind of that he is our.
They could own the whole block, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could just decide that he is the big landlord person
yeah.
who's throwing their weight around.
Um, Otherwise, I guess like indifferent mayor, someone who is nominally in charge, but who doesn't really know what's going on under their nose.
That's fun.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sort of interested in like the indifferent mayor, all of us like maybe being a challenger and all of a sudden wanting to do more in the area, but not knowing anything about it. Um, like someone who's just been content to let things be as they are, all of a sudden gets these grand ideas of how the neighborhood can be improved. Um, like I
Yeah.
like this magical hub of magical commerce and outcasts having like either a spokesperson or a celebrity or maybe like a patron landlord, like someone who has been making this a place where people can live and then having a challenge to that. Um,
Yeah. I mean, some landlords can be benevolent, right? I guess
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
urban fantasy, right?
they could be someone who is aware of the magical community and wanting to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
space for it.
I mean, I was thinking about whoever it is that being challenged by an area celebrity, someone who wants more. Like they're already a celebrity and now they want more influence. And that's because they're a celebrity, right?
They're making TikToks about all the shops
Yes,
blowing up our
yes.
spot.
Yep, exactly. Something like that. I mean, maybe they're not a social media influencer, they're just a celebrity, maybe some actor or some kind of who's also a celebrity.
Mm. Like
Like,
a stage magician even.
oh yeah, that stage magician after the real deal. That is interesting.
That is
Okay. Well, do we do we like that option? And then Sabine can hit us with the challenger.
Oh, that was my
Kind of.
idea for the challenger,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
actually.
Uh, so yeah, we could do. Are we going with indifferent mayor or landlord or something else for the leader? So
The landlord who is also an indifferent mayor.
maybe in different mayor first, I guess. Like pre,
okay.
um,
Do they have a name? Or is that TBC?
Potsworth. I don't know. Uh,
Okay. How does that look? Or indifferent mayor, little oblivious to all the actual magic going on.
Mhm. I think the name of the area celebrity is Marley Magpie. She is a stage magician and wants in on the real deal.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Is that something you all like?
I
Yeah.
do like it. I'm the only thing I'm starting to feel is that maybe I do like landlord as the primary a little more than different mayor and having like a mysterious patron sort of. I'm just thinking of the conflict between these two, um, and it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, if somebody's indifferent, the kind of conflict is kind of hard to like, if he's indifferent, so yeah, why wouldn't he step aside?
I mean, I guess it makes it easier for them to be challenged, which is
Okay.
interesting.
But is the idea that the landlord is kind of likes the way everything is hidden or not exactly obvious, and that the fear would be that Marley Magpie is gonna kind of spotlight on it, right?
Yeah, or maybe a landlord would be interested in a partnership with well, I don't know. I guess we can play to find out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the detail we add to our landlord? Uh, Benevolent, um, and happy that things are quiet, I guess. That could go either way.
I'd love to add a little mystery and have it like patron of the magical community, but not necessarily declare for sure that they're benevolent
Okay.
in their entirety.
I mean, they like the way things are just so, and as long as you don't step out of line, that's probably fine with him. If you do, well,
I'm sure they're getting something from this deal.
probably get kicked out or something.
Okay.
Yeah, the status quo.
Okay. So, and I think the last thing we do for our neighborhood is pick a local joy.
Mhm.
So something that the neighborhood finds joy in. Um,
I feel that night markets and food festivals are kind of a given from what
okay.
we've established so far, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
How many joys do we get?
we pick one each.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, what do you think, Matt? Any of those that you must have?
I like the best damn coffee in town. Like a Syrian coffee shop.
Nice,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. Um, let me know how this sounds. I'm going with a notorious apothecary. Um, So the description for Joy is what binds us together as a neighborhood, what its citizens are most proud of, and what keeps their hope alive in difficult times. I wonder if the nature of this apothecary like changes depending on the mood or the needs of the neighborhood. So if everything's fine, then it's like uh, party stuff, and if it's not fine, it'll maybe turn to medical or just whatever. Um, but I think people have heard of it, and some people disapprove, but not us in this neighborhood, right? We're proud of it.
I love it.
Okay, so that is the city. Okay, and then we jump to the underworld. Um, okay, so a realm of strange and potent magic. So the underworld is the neighborhood beneath and behind the mundane world. It's part of the natural order, existing in balance with the city, but the workings of the coven and their magic stir its denizens and whet its appetite. So the first thing we pick together, the first thing we decide is like, what is the underworld? Is it corporate, subterranean, or old money? What do we think?
Can you repeat them once, or are we on the next? Oh, I see. Corporate subterranean. Old money jumps out to me, but I think they're all good. Old money speaks to like vampires and other strange magical entities who have had their claws in this city for a long time.
Yeah.
But I
I mean,
think
it
they're all
also,
cool.
for me, like, points a finger at the landlord, right?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Okay, let's go with old money. So, uh, it doesn't tell me who picks each of these. Let me just double check the actual rule book. Okay. So there's an actual. The star chooses denizens. Whoever drew the moon chooses a barrier. And doesn't tell
So
us
moon
who
is emotion in this too.
makes. So the barrier should be chosen by uh, Sabine. We should choose the barrier.
Okay. Twisting, tackling tunnels, jagged walkways.
So good.
I like jagged walkways. So if you want to find the underworld, you need to go there where the cobblestones are a little twisted, right? Where it's easier to stumble. So you stumble into the underworld. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Matt, you want to decide what laws? So the underworld has laws governing.
I have a question here
Oh, yeah.
because I saw at under Wild Spirits when the game begins, circle 3 laws and decide what they mean. And the old soul does something else. Is that something we do after we do this?
Um,
and some claims.
Yeah. Where are you seeing that? Because I'm not seeing that in either the playset or the rulebook.
That's on the second column with claims.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's something we do after this.
Okay, okay. Well,
Um,
thank you.
I think.
I'm gonna go with oaths and favors. I think that speaks to old money. There's a lot of people sworn
Hmm.
to other people and families. And
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, maybe we do, maybe this is why we skip this part. Yeah, maybe we have to choose all three um, when we do those claims. Yeah, maybe you're right, Sabine. So, uh, yeah. So, bear with me a moment. I'm just gonna duplicate this.
next Monday, I'll have my books with me.
Sorry. So I think maybe Matt, you should do the face, and then I'll do the details, and then we'll do the claims.
We lost you for half a sec. Which should I do?
Um, so uh, the face is, you can see in your claims, right? It says when the game begins, give the underworld's face a name and a title. And it says, where do you learn these things?
Do you, is there going to be, are we going to redo the, or does the wild spirit do the laws? Or I've chosen one, but I wonder if that, if
Yeah, sorry.
Sabine
So that
gets to do
that
all of them.
was that was my mistake, where these sections are actually covered by the claims, right? So when um, so we can do it in order if we want. I'm not sure any order is particularly mentioned, but uh, we
I
can
would love
start
to
with.
know either some of the laws and maybe the denizen before I decide on the name of the face of the underworld.
So maybe we should start out with the denizens,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then
So I mean, I like the idea of malevolent statuary. Although we already have a friend who is a neighborhood gargoyle, so maybe that's duplication. Uh,
I don't see why we couldn't just. I guess we're supposed to have an extra source with the extra friend, but they could just be the
yeah.
denizen.
Um, so maybe greedy devils. I think maybe we have a friend who is a greedy devil. Um, yeah, let's go with a greedy devil. I guess we need a greedy devil kind of name, right?
Mhm.
It's tempting to go for something absurdly biblical, but then sometimes I want something that is absurdly mundane, right? Like Frank. Um,
It's pretty good.
I mean, you have to blend in to get stuff done, right? And Frank
Yeah.
is a good name as any.
And I think Frank's weak point is Motley's stew.
So I can tell one kind of greedy that
Yeah,
it's
you know,
Matt, I'm sorry, I find it a little hard to understand you. You sound like you're a bit underwater or something. I don't know.
I don't know if this is better.
Yes, this is a lot better. Thank you.
My mic was in my lap.
okay. The muffling is no more. Okay, so that's our uh, extra then. That's our specific denizen. Uh, for our wild spirit, I guess you decide, you circle, I guess you select three laws, decide what they mean. Which do you despise most? So these are laws that the underworld has.
I think I'll stick to the oaths and favors, because that kind of tracks with greedy devils anyway, right? So, and what that means is that the greedy devils love contracts, right? And they also love doing you favors, and then you can do a little contract, and before you can say, wait a minute, they have a bit of your soul, just like a tiny bit. You don't need it that badly, right? But if oath is oath, favor is favor. And then we also have, ooh, has laws governing. Well, I think, yeah, the underworld has laws governing magic, who can use it and why. I mean, maybe you can break it, but there are laws on how magic can be used, should be used, and yeah, and I think that is the law that my Ivy despises the most, right? Because magic can have laws, right? It's just bullshit, like circumscribing whatever anybody can do with magic. And the last one, and feel free to chime in if you have something a law you'd really like to see, because I'm a little like anything could be good. Maybe it has laws surrounding violence, like you have to do duels and stuff like that. You can't just beat someone up unless they have broken an oath or not done you a favor. But does that make sense?
I like
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
So magical duels, violent duels, anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm reminded of this book. Who's it? R.J. Barker, who has a book where the main character is a duelist at law instead of an attorney
Yeah.
at law.
Yes. Yes. I think I've read that. I remember that.
But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I will find a different. I will make this magic Comic Sans to represent that I really hate it.
Okay, because our wild spirit really doesn't like these laws
No.
that hold them back.
Yeah. No. No. No.
Okay, cool. And Matt, the old soul, give the underworld's face a name and title. It says, where do you learn these? Where did you learn these things? Uh,
Hmm. Where do I learn these things? A lot of oaths and favors. Um, I think one of the names is Algernon. I'm invoking a lot of like sort of um like Victorian or later occultism and a lot of like um Hermeticism and Order of the Golden Dawn and all that stuff, especially with the who can and who can't do magic and what is and what isn't magic, and a lot of the etiquette around these sorts of things. So I think, um, and I just looked up Algernon and it means with mustaches. So I'm thinking that that's a defining quality of the face of the underworld is they have a very finely manicured mustache. Um, and
I don't
title.
think Ivy likes them.
Um, I'll get there in a second. Maybe like the progenitor or even just the magician. Um,
Yeah.
I sort of like progenitor as having like cult leader vibes, as in like the originator of this kind of magic that is all that anyone can do. I don't want to define too much with my ramblings, but that's just all the things that are jumping out of my mind.
Right. Or at least, what people think of when they think of the like the well thought of magic, the
Yes.
the well heeled magic.
Yes. Algernon the progenitor.
And I presume Ivy or Motley knows all these things just because that's Motley, right?
Yeah, Motley has given away too many like years of her afterlife and important things she should not have promised to learn such things.
So that is all the setup for the sanctuary, the city, and the underworld. And now we return to our questions. Um, so we go back to the characters tab. Um,
The question, we're hitting the hour. Do we take a break now or do we do it after or do we just power through?
I'm okay.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm okay to power through, and then we can
Oh,
stop at this natural pause, and then we can do troubles next week.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I can start. So in you have three questions, and you're going to ask two to each of the other two playbooks. So I think we'll just ask one and then go around the table and keep asking them. Um, so these are good questions. I'm going to start with so this is for the old soul. This is for Motley. How did you first hear of me?
well, I'm very interested in your deal, Too Good to Be True, and I think I hear much of dealings and promises and bargains, and especially when a young witch has made a deal that's too good to be true, I might have heard of, I don't know if it was your folly or at least what you promised or who you made the deal with. Um, I like to think that it was the rumor mill about that deal. Um, and maybe I still don't know if you're thinking anything for this deal, but maybe I know the person and their, or at least the reputation of whom you dealt with. And I know that it was maybe dangerous to do such a thing.
Okay. And this was I won't say an innocent choice at the start, but we ended up in a place with greedy devils running
Yeah, for
over
sure.
contracts and all that. Uh,
Perfect.
okay.
To be a pure
Um,
heart.
yeah. Um, I I mean, I'm tempted to ask who the other person in this deal was, but I think I think we should find out in an early scene next week. You know, this
We have
person is
old
gonna.
we have old money as a nice prompt.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Um, okay. And what is obviously the old soul cannot ask the old soul a question. So that's probably just a. Let me just double check that. Sabine, do you want to ask a question?
I will ask the old soul, why am I forever beholden to you?
why are you beholden to me
Forever.
forever?
Uh-huh.
So you are sort of owing me thanks or something in
Yeah,
return for something I have done?
yeah.
Okay. Um, you've abandoned a mystery from your youth.
Yep.
The underworld menaces you with an unshakable tailwind. Um,
Maybe it has something to do with your ability to manipulate spirits.
yeah, did you add any details to the tailwind yet?
No, not yet. No.
Maybe I was able to buy you some time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe I put the tailwind, maybe I like spoke to the north and the east winds or the witch of the wind and stars or something and was able
Oh,
to
I like that.
ask them to redirect the wind for
Oh,
some time. So it's taking a circuitous route to back to you.
okay. That I like that. Yes, thank you.
And we will set it off for good once we
Mhm.
learn a little more.
Mhm.
So it looks like the questions in that drop down are the same from
Yeah, I am fixing that now.
okay, so I can go down to Wild Spirit while you
I
patch it
think
up.
I'm just double checking those as well. I just fixed
Okay.
the top one, which is Wild Spirit,
Okay.
um, and I'm fixing the one which should be Pure Heart now. So I
Okay.
think you
Thanks,
can
Donna.
ask. That's my fault.
No, you're all right.
Yeah.
Um, hey, if you asked me to make a character keeper, game wouldn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, okay. Oh, these are spicy,
Oh no.
spicy questions. Let's go with what argument never fails to put us at each other's throats?
I, hmm, I think we can tie that into the whole rules of magic and stuff like that. And I think it's the way we deal with we have to deal with our neighbors, like the devils. Yeah, because I'm all for, hey, let's fuck them over. I mean, if they want to fuck with me, I will change their tails to snakes and have them bite them. And
And
I
yeah,
think you might counsel patience and not being such a menace. And remember the last time you fucked with the devil and how hard it was for Pepper to put you back together?
yes. I think I have a very inscrutable network of balances and favors and arrangements that is centuries old, and I'm constantly cashing in favors and giving them away. And if this is destabilized, then our whole neighborhood could fall apart. And but that's boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm start talking to my frog when you do that, when you talk about that, which maybe to piss you off, honestly.
Yes.
Okay, love it.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to come back around to me and I'll ask the wild spirit a question. Um, so let me look. Hmm. I'll have to fix this drop down as well. Um, so my question for the wild spirit is, uh, how did you first show me the beauty of this city?
I
I'm
think in the
muted
yeah,
by unmuting myself, first of all. And then I think it has to do with is it a rainforest? Let me check, no, let me check that. The fire escape forest. Yes, with the fire escape forest. Because I mean, maybe you hadn't found it, or hadn't noticed it. And I mean, I crawl around everywhere and looking at stuff. So I found it and I showed you. Said, look at what we got here. Look at that pretty snake I just pulled out of this forest. I don't know if you're as much into snakes as Ivy is, but
Probably not. I mean, no one is, right? But
what? No, snakes are great. Okay, no one is as much into snakes as Ivy is. That might be true. Anyway, yeah, yes, I think that's yeah, and there are many of these places in the city if you know how to look and where to walk. It's not all devils and their shenanigans.
Hmm, okay, nice. Is that so? Does that mean, say, if the first time you met me, obviously, like I hadn't moved into the house yet, and so you bring me into the house and then out the back to look at the fire escape forest, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, okay, brilliant. Uh, the next one is a question for you, or from you for me.
Oh. I think I'll go with which of my escapades will you never let me live down?
I mean, escapades
Mm,
sounds comic and lighthearted to me. Um, I wonder if there was one time that you were you turned into a wolf or some other creature with fur, and you ended up coming back to the house, and like you couldn't change because your fur was full of burrs and you know bristle tops and all that kind of stuff. And so I had to painfully extract them all from your fur before you could change.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it's. Um, I think it's obviously kind of used in a way like maybe I remind you of it whenever you're going out and you say like, "Ah, don't wait up for me" or whatever. When I know you're going to be up to no good, like I'll say I'll be ready to take those burrs out of your fur again, or something like this.
Yeah, okay.
Dano, I'm not sure about, I think the pure heart questions now are still um, the, the the pure heart's questions for the wild spirits and not my questions for the pure heart.
Okay, I need to take a look at this. So can I call out the questions, or do you have it?
Please.
So actually, if you go to the lookups tab, you'll see them all there. If you go
Brilliant.
over to row or column G and H.
Okay. I see them. So I'm asking the pure heart. Hmm. Well, I think the answer to the first is kind of obvious. I'll ask the second. In what way have you sworn to never be like me?
Ooh, I think I think while I appreciate Motley, like you boil everything down to its kind of uh, purest practical level, so that everything is like an exchange or fundamentally, I'll do this for you, you do that for me. And maybe I don't see the kind of like deeper um wisdom of that. I'm young and foolish, right? But like I say, I'll never be like that. I'll never reduce everything down to a transaction.
Mm, nice.
Um, so I will ask another question of you, Matt. Um, I think I know what's happening. When you make a change to a drop down, it wants to change all the drop downs to match it. Um, so the question I'm going to ask you is, when did I first earn your respect?
The first thing I want to say is when I heard about whom you dealt with, because, but I think I'll put something else in. Um, I think it is when I saw how you cared for Arlo on like your first week at the coven, the gargoyle, who is curmudgeonly and lonely and pushes everyone away. But I think you, sooner than anyone else, found a way to care for Arlo in the way that he wanted to be cared for. And and that was one example of the interactions, but I think also seeing you with the neighbors and just you earned my respect um, by the way you treated our community. You got Arlo to open up.
Yeah. Sabine, do you wanna?
I'll ask the second one also to Motley. And I think, what truths of my past have I confessed only to you?
The first thing that you killed with your old knife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like that.
Um,
Now I'm thinking
thinking
about what that was, but oh, I think I know what that was. Uh, or do you want to tell me what that was?
if you have an idea, I'd love to hear it. I'm just interested in how your powers are used for violence, and
Oh, I think maybe I had a sort of mentor, not like a lot more like a spirit of the wild, and we had a falling out, and it was a fight. I didn't actually mean to kill them, but that's what happens when you fight, right?
that's really good. So we're asking two of the following. And I'll go back to the wild spirit. Hmm. Well, I think since I opened with the argument question, and that put us at our throats quite often, I like to ask, when did you first concede that you had something to learn from me?
Ooh. I think that was when I probably got in over my head with some of maybe not the devils, but some of the ghosts. Um, and when you explained to me how I could actually coexist with them without always trying to outmaneuver or one up them, or yeah, that I learned from you there. I learned that maybe sometimes throwing magic at stuff and or a tantrum or whatever, maybe that's not always the best option, and maybe I can learn something about that from you.
What were you trying to get from this elder spirit of the city?
What was I trying to get from them? I think it wanted to eat my frog. And that is my frog. Sorry, but that is my frog. Maybe it wasn't my frog back then, but I kind of adopted the frog on the spot.
Yeah, and of course the correct way is to bargain something for the frog, but instead
Yes.
you went the
Yeah.
other route.
Instead, I just stole it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is our final question. Um, we've kind of hinted at this a little bit with the rainforest act back, but I think I want to figure out where did we meet once before I joined the coven, and do I remember the encounter? It's kind of mysterious.
I think we met while I was sort of a wolf, actually. Um, and I think we met a couple of times because you smelled interesting, right? So the wolf was hanging around looking if they could maybe scare you a little. When they couldn't, they were curious and interested. So I'm pretty sure by now you have figured out that nice doggy that more or less friendly big dog that you met must have been Ivy
Hmm.
when you came to the city. But Ivy never said anything about that and acts like they have no idea what you're talking about.
Mhm. Do you think the place that we encountered each other is important? Like, is there a reason that you're trying to keep it secret that that might have been you, somewhere you shouldn't have been, or?
It's not unlikely. I mean, there's probably some not like the wolf usually should be confined, and that's the magic rule, right? Wolves and transformation magic should be confined to the areas where wolves usually hang around. We met in the mall, which is not a traditionally wolfy area, but you know.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I was breaking the rules of magic. Well, yeah, yeah. And since I've learned from Motley that maybe I shouldn't be quite so forceful with that, I'm a little more like, oh, was that me? Who knows?
Okay, cool. I think you get to ask me one now,
Yeah, I think I will go for which of my vices can you most easily overlook?
and there are so many.
You're not wrong.
Um, and I most easily overlook. Um, I think, strangely enough, it is the. I think sometimes there's like this paranoia, or at least um, protectiveness that Ivy has, right? By like keeping secrets and that kind of stuff. And maybe maybe it's like a thing that I find we have in common, because we're both kind of running from something.
Mhm. Yeah, true.
I mean, I think outwardly I'll say like I would like you to share more often, but maybe I don't really have a lot of conviction in that anymore. Matt, do you have one last question?
I do, just deciding between them. Um, the first is, when did I lose my wonder for the city? And I don't know if I want to have lost my wonder for the city. Um, but I am the old soul, and I've been here for a very I do like the third because I think it has good storytelling implications. What advice do I give you but never follow myself?
Oh. um, so I wonder um, if you have told me to have no dealings with this person who who gave me a deal too good to be true. Should we name them? Should we make this the Algernon?
The face of the underworld.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I think there's nothing wrong with being direct with our connections.
yeah, yeah.
Might as well
So
use them.
so I think, I mean, you'd advised me not to make deals with Algernon, but unbeknownst to us, I think you have made plenty of deals with him.
Plenty, I would say. And they're to keep us safe. It's the argument again between Sid and myself. Um, Patience and the right balance of favors can keep threats from our door. Um, but at a certain point, yes, very good, very good.
Okay. I think that concludes our setup at long
Yes.
last. Um, yeah, so I think we can finish up there. Maybe we'll do a quick round of stars and wishes once I stop the recording.
Before we stop, I don't like the
Yeah.
progenitor for the title of Algernon. It's a mouthful and it's not very poetic. And I just felt like typing Algernon the Wise. Um, the Wise feels okay. What do you think, Donna?
So, like, the progenitor has this like hint of danger and control and stuff like
Yeah,
this.
the Wise is too whimsical.
Um,
Um, okay,
like
let's
something like, if you want something simple, you could say like the first or something like that, which is like haughty and powerful,
the first is
and maybe not
good.
true, but
Yeah, but the first as in the foremost or the first of this way.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Does that
Well,
make
we'll
sense?
leave it with the first for now. I like that quite
Okay,
a
okay,
lot.
okay, cool. So I'll stop the recording and we'll do our debrief.